All right, and we are live.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Rare Drop Gaming. This is episode 00, which means it's a test episode.
Yeah,
I'm
It's
we're
the
we're kind of
pilot.
we're looking to iron out the kinks here before we really get into episode one.
yeah, episode 1,
Though,
which
though I think I titled the broadcast episode one, so go me.
oh,
But
well,
you know,
So you are starting the numbering system over for this.
yeah, it's all you know, all new.
This is like
So-
what the comic book labels do. I mean, it's the same
That's
product. They just start over with like a number one, so people will go up and be like, "Oh, it's number one. I'll buy it."
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, we were formerly Rare Drop Media, or just Rare Drop Radio over on RareDrop.com. But we are actually getting rid of RareDrop.com completely, and we're just going to be using Twitch and uploading the show to YouTube as well.
yeah, so we'll
um,
have a video presence. And obviously the main draw is going to be still the podcast, still the interaction between us being a bunch of silly people that love video games and all kinds of other ridiculous stuff, but with some gameplay and stuff to go along with it. Yunfei Lung, or rather Jason now, right? So
yeah. Let's go ahead and intro. I'm Jason, aka, well, I should say formerly known as Yun Fei Long, and also known as Pro Wrestling Dragon on Twitter.
Yeah,
or
I know.
PW Dragon.
My point being that I know that you said you're going to be uploading some supplemental stuff to YouTube, so it's not like it's just even going to be the podcast. That's going to be the main draw. But over on YouTube there will be other content. And, who knows? Maybe you'll stream some other stuff too. It all depends.
Yeah, it'll first come on Twitch. I'll be streaming through Twitch. Usually it will be. Right now it's going to be PS4 games. Once I get it set up on my end, I'll be doing some PC gaming too.
Mm-hmm.
So it should be fun, man. But yeah, Andrew, aka Phantoms Y, what's up, man?
Oh, not too much, man. I'm the one who's going to be handling the streaming portion of the podcast for today. I won't be hosting the show though, so anything that you see that I do that's really stupid in Isaac, that's on me today. That's not on these guys.
Oh, don't worry, we'll have our chance too to do plenty of other stupid things in other
Yeah.
games.
And that said, as you can see from the title screen here, we're going to be playing The Binding of Isaac Rebirth, which is a pretty brand spanking new game that just came out this past week, and it's pretty
Yeah.
rad. But without further ado, let's go ahead and introduce the third wheel. No. How's it going, Adam?
I'm not gonna stay on the podcast.
We love you, man. It's okay.
Formerly
You're-
Sun Wukong.
yeah, he's actually the most entertaining guy in this podcast. But
Oh, by far.
Oh, well, that's a damn lie.
no,
uh,
really.
Not that anybody out there would actually know me as that. I mean, at least not outside of the podcast. It was like, whatever. I don't know. It was weird because we were switching around podcasts and I was changing names and stuff. I was like,
Yeah, we were kind of inconsistent over time for sure, but
Oh yeah.
yeah.
And don't expect this podcast to be any more professional. I mean, there's just no way.
No, it's gonna be fun for everybody involved. Hopefully,
Yep.
maybe a little bit of chat interaction. Who knows?
Yeah. Feel free to join the chat over on Twitch.
Yeah,
I have to think that playing the Binding of Isaac live while talking has got to be difficult to some degree. I mean, it seems like it's a game that relies a lot on reflexes. I can just be distracted.
the thing is that I'm bad at it, whether I'm concentrating or not. So it's not like it's gonna matter all that much.
You can choose Judas.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's a plethora of characters here. I'm gonna go with Magdalene, and now I'm gonna fight some poop monsters.
All right. Hey, poop monsters. There you go.
Hey, it's like
There
they
is
were
a lot
saying
of
on
poop in
the,
this game.
They're saying on the MMO I was playing recently, one of the fates is called Love is a Fecal Matter. I don't know what the fate has to do with love, but
I'm into it.
What the hell?
I'll
I'm
explain.
definitely
Okay,
into
hold
it.
on. I'll just jump in. I've been playing Final Fantasy 14, and these are like some of the. They're like the fate involves fighting these like lower level Marlboro things, so they
Oh,
have
I hate
bad breath.
Marlboros.
So I don't know why it says love is a fecal matter because I have no idea what the fate has to do with love. But I was like, okay, so I understand that they're going with like a fecal theme because these are the Marlboro that do their bad breath. But what the hell was with the? Why is it love?
Hey man, Marlboros need love too.
Well, apparently I was shooting them in the face with my fire spell. So
That is a game that I actually bookmarked the link you gave me to download the free trial, Adam, but I have not downloaded it yet.
Yeah, I think my free trial ends, and if it isn't already ended, it ends in a day or two.
Yeah, I don't know how our format is changed for today, so I don't know if we're going to talk about what we've been playing or anything here.
We definitely should.
We indeed are. Let's see. Let me go through. We actually do write a few things down for this show every now and again.
Look at this guy and his writing down stuff.
Yeah, I know. So, as I said, the shows are going to be available streaming live on Twitch.
Yeah, twitch.tv/RareDrop Gaming Podcast, right?
Yes, and if you missed the live stream, you can catch us on YouTube at youtube.com/RareDropGamePodcast. So check us out there. RareDrop.com will be going away, I believe, like late December. It may even be early January, but, basically I'm just going to put one more update on the site and then worry about archiving things and getting them off there. So yeah, man, changes, but, in today's world, it just makes a lot more sense to do things this way because...
Video is the wave of the future of the internet, man.
It really is, and...
Not even the future of the present, to be honest.
Yeah.
Well, plus these, larger platforms have a larger audience to tap by default.
Yeah. It just makes sense. Makes sense for everybody.
Yep. So hopefully, we can get our podcast a little more out there, and just chill. Unfortunately, Moose Gallon, John, he's not able to join us this week. His schedule is rough right now to get together. So, and really, all our schedules are kind of unique. So
hopefully, mine will be. I'm hoping to be more difficult soon.
Right.
Yeah.
Hopefully it'll be a little more full, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
I understand.
I'm not sure... We're not going to have a specific day to do this. I definitely want to try to get, content up weekly, and I'm going to do my best to make sure that happens. But, yeah, until that time, just stay tuned, and episode 1, probably next week sometime.
Oh, wow, that's soon, huh?
Yeah, man, we gotta go forward with it.
But then again, that makes a lot of sense because next week is so filled with games.
Yeah, Dragon Age, man. I mean,
Dragon Age, SmackDown. There's another couple of games coming out too. I think I just can't think of them off the top of my head.
Yeah, you will definitely see a lot of SmackDown on our YouTube channel, and I don't know. Are you doing any kind of stream of Dragon Age, Andrew?
It all depends on how my computer can handle it, man.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of want to, but on the other hand, I know that it's kind of going to make me have to run it, like, at a lower resolution and stuff, so I've been kind of just debating about it. I really want a new computer.
It's probably time, right?
In, hopefully, about a year. It's not going to be anytime real soon, but I'm hoping that, 2015 will be the year of the new PC for Andrew.
Speaking of which, I still owe you money for this one, because thanks to Andrew, I financed this awesome computer, which is
no
great.
rush, man. I'm not a bank.
But yeah, financial craziness has ensued recently.
Yeah, you guys have got, a few things to worry about on that front, but hey, you guys will make it.
Yeah, real life gets in the way of fun sometimes.
How depressing.
But we're not here to talk about real life.
That's right, we're here to talk about games and stupid stuff.
Watching.
Not really stupid stuff, because games aren't stupid. Games are awesome.
Keeps me going, man. So let's talk about what we've been playing and watching, shall we?
Let's do it.
Well, as you've already seen, we are playing The Binding of Isaac.
Yeah, Binding of Isaac Rebirth. It is actually a HD remake of the original Binding of Isaac, which came out 2 or 3 years ago. And the funny thing is that I bought The Binding of Isaac, the original, but I didn't play it much, and the reason for that is basically, to be perfectly honest, that I hated the controls on a keyboard. Because I grew up, I played a lot of Smash TV, and to me this game felt like, in fact it basically does control just like Smash TV, and I wanted to be able to control it like that. So having to do it with the keyboard felt so unintuitive to me, and it just ruined my enjoyment of the game, to the point that I just didn't want to play it.
Yeah.
But fast forward to now, to November of 2014, and we get the HD remake of The Binding of Isaac, and it supports controller support, or it has controller support natively, and works really, really well. So I am just loving it. I actually looked at my playtime of this game before the podcast. 48 hours already.
Wow, that is a lot.
Yeah, but the thing is that a lot of that has been like at the title screen and stuff. But I think I probably have played like 40 hours of this game.
Yeah,
It's
it looks
stupid.
really fun. Like, I know when you first showed it to me, I was like, huh, it looks sort of like Zelda.
Yeah, it's got a sort of Zelda meets Smash TV meets, like, name a very roguelike game. And I like it. I like it a lot.
So,
There's a lot of random chance involved, but there are definitely ways to maximize your chances of a run. Sometimes the randomness of the game will just absolutely screw you, but sometimes you will just get so stupidly overpowered that it is just awesome and hilarious.
It's funny. Having never really been one to play roguelikes, I recently realized that one of my favorite childhood games was a roguelike game at a time before I think that word was even used.
You talking about
What
Asher
game?
Dreams?
Yep.
Yeah, I figured. Yeah, it kind of is. And, yeah, I really love that game, too. It all depends on how it's presented, though. Like, it has to feel mostly fair to me. Some
So-
roguelike games are just, like, too unfair for me. But yeah,
so
I
like,
feel...
what the
feel
hell
very
is going on here? Like, she jumps down a hole, she sees, like, these crazy
Oh.
things. Her face is just fucking insane.
You see my mask? You like my mask?
Yeah, where did you get that? Like, what
Well,
is the
did you-
story to this
Would
game?
you like to see my mask?
Well, did
I
you...
use it in all my experiments.
Did you see me make a deal with the devil a few minutes ago?
Nah, I did not have the stream up at that point.
I made a deal with the devil, and I
Uh-huh.
took both of his deals
Right.
for my health. I traded 2 complete heart containers for this evil mask that just scaring the hell out of you, clearly, and for Guppy's paw, which is Isaac's cat, who is dead, I think, because his body parts are like all over in this game. But
Wow.
essentially the story for Isaac, which you don't have to know about at all to enjoy the game, but the game is extremely dark and has a very dark sense of humor. But its presentation is nice in that way. But the story is essentially that his mother, like Isaac's just this kid that kind of clearly has a shitty life, as you see from those little vignettes, like the one you just saw. But at the same time, he's fairly happy. He lives with his mom. She's this sort of devout Christian lady that watches Christian broadcasting network all the time. But then she kind of one day starts to hear the voice of God, quote unquote, aka she's crazy,
Oh,
and he basically is saying like Isaac has been corrupted by sin. You must prevent this from coming to pass. So she like takes away all his toys and eventually she hears the voice again and is like he's still corrupt. You have to remove these outside influences. So then she locks him in his room and won't let him leave. And then she hears the voice again, and it's like, I still question your devotion. I demand a sacrifice. Kill Isaac.
Oh, kind of
So
like the old biblical story.
exactly,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, it's the exact same thing basically, just a different presentation of it.
In modern times.
Yeah,
Except this
essentially.
time, I
Ow.
don't think Yahweh comes out and says, "Hey, you know what? Never mind."
Yeah.
Yeah, so then she basically runs and starts trying to kill him. Isaac sees all this through a crack in his door and runs into the cellar. And this is your descent into the basement, trying to escape from your mother who's trying to murder you.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's the
That's-
story.
I gotta say, man, this is a pretty big basement.
I know, right? Filled
So-
with monsters and giant spiders and the devil and angels and all kinds
yeah.
of stuff.
That's wild, man. But
It is.
pretty
It's a lot of
awesome.
fun. It's a lot of
I have to
fun,
say.
man. It is.
Um,
It is pretty rad. This is actually a pretty strong run I've got going here for as early as I am. I don't have a lot of health, but offensively, I'm getting stupidly powerful.
Glass cannon,
Yep. Oh, and I'm fighting a really hard boss. This
the
is
best
not
kinds of cannons.
I think the thing that was craziest to me is like your weapons are your tears.
Good. Yep.
Right?
You're fighting with your tears. That's how sad Isaac is.
Man, poor Isaac.
Though I'm actually playing Magdalene, but the story is the same either way.
Yeah.
Is this Dark Bum? Oh, it's a
No.
little Brimstone. Okay. Anyway, I'm just gonna keep going on about this game if you let me. So we should totally talk about other stuff. This game is awesome though. So if you have any interest in it, you should check into it on Steam or elsewhere.
Yeah, I believe it's also on PS4, PS3, Xbox
Vita?
360. Is it on Vita? Wow.
Yep.
And Xbox One as well. So, I mean, it's pretty much all over the place.
It's
from
free
the-
on PS4 right now with
Oh, if
PlayStation
you're a
Plus.
member.
Yeah.
See, I really want to become a PlayStation Plus member, but right now,
Oh yeah, man, you gotta prioritize.
yep, exactly. So Adam, you've been playing some Final Fantasy 14 on the good old PC, right?
That's an
I've-
RPG.
Been playing a lot actually. I got a little over gamed and I was feeling a little overwhelmed here recently with how much crap I had going on. So I had been I have somewhat of a short attention span. So with the Secret World, I like to play it. Apparently, from the looks of things, I like to play it at about 4 to 6 month increments and then leave it for a while and then come back to it.
Yeah.
But I wanted to do the Halloween event this year because I was not playing the game for the first Halloween event, and I was absent from the game last year. And they bring all of the Halloween content back every Halloween. So this year, I wanted to do all of the content, or I wanted to get the achievements basically for the 3 years of Halloween events.
Chivos.
Well, they were a little late getting it out, and before the Halloween event started, I had gotten on. I had gotten on a trial of Final Fantasy XIV. I don't really know why. Something clicked, and I was kind of going. I started kind of going through a weird Final Fantasy phase. Like I wanted to. I went and I played the original game on the phone, or at least I should say it's not really the original game, but the updated original game on my phone, which was surprisingly fun, even though the gameplay was pretty primitive. It was like, hey, you know what? This is still actually fun to play. And then I actually started replaying Final Fantasy IX. I played through Disc 1. I picked up Final Fantasy 14. And then, so I was playing this, then the Secret World Halloween event came out like right before Halloween, and it actually isn't even ending until tomorrow, early tomorrow.
Yeah, because they were so late getting it out, right?
Right. So I got the achievements for that, and then my wife and I actually we kind of celebrate our dating anniversary because our dating anniversary and our wedding anniversary are actually about half a year apart. So we get to celebrate twice a year.
There you go.
And she decided, and she had actually gotten me a game, which I was not expecting. And she had gotten me Injustice, the DC fighting game from the makers of Mortal Kombat.
Oh, that's a great game.
In the process of talking about this, I said something about, I don't know why, but immediately during this time we were talking about the Stick of Truth, and she was like, oh, were you going to play the South Park game? I was like, well, yeah, I just can't afford it right now, blah, 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 blah. And then she hands it to me, and she's like, well, I got it for you for Christmas, but I guess you can have it now. So I've only played about 2 hours of Injustice. It was fun, but it was just in the midst of doing the Secret World Halloween event, doing playing Final Fantasy XIV, because I actually ended up buying the game and I have a month of subscription time on it.
Yeah, you're clearly pretty into it.
And and I actually have been playing this as hardcore as I've played a lot of the other MMOs, so there's an advantage there in that I'm getting the bonus experience for being logged out a little bit more.
And while you were on the quick topic, real quick, of MMOs though, it was funny is like I subscribed to Star Wars this past month, so it was like, what was it, like 15 times experience for story quests, and I was like, hey, I can totally level some characters, and then I found like I totally didn't feel like playing it like hardly at all, so I've hardly played it. Which
Yeah,
is
15 times, that's a lot.
yeah, because they're coming out with a new expansion, so they're like, level up your alts quickly.
We haven't played Star Wars at all since I kind of got stuck
Yeah.
in that one area, which is pretty near the beginning of the game, mind you.
Well, we'll pick it up when you feel like it, and I've got time. So,
Yeah.
but today we're podcasting.
Yes.
But yeah, I just
But,
wanted to throw that out there real quick because I was like, oh, it's always bad though when you subscribe to an MMO because you almost, I usually feel like I need to play almost. It's almost like an obligation at times, which is it's terrible. It should never be like that. Which is why I kind of decided like fuck it. If I threw $15 away, that's fine. Because if I don't feel like playing it, I'm just not gonna play it.
I think it only feels like an obligation if it's a subscription-based MMO.
Oh yeah, for sure. If it's free, then you're not losing anything.
Or even just buy to play, which I actually like the buy to play model.
I like that a lot, actually. Yeah. I like it when there's a trial though, so that way you kind of know what you're getting into.
Yeah. Well, see, one of the things that I like about buy to play. So I really enjoyed free to play, a free to play MMO called Neverwinter, right? It's quite cool. The problem is yeah, it's like completely. I'm pretty sure I didn't buy it. I think you download it, you play it, and you're done. I don't recall spending any money on it. The problem is that when I got to the end of the game, I was like, oh, the game appears to become buy to win at the end because they don't have like a model where they're making money at the beginning. I may be wrong. I don't recall spending money on Neverwinter, but regardless, it was just kind of like, so, I understand their business model, but this is kind of annoying. Whereas I've noticed that buy-to-play MMOs tend to be a little bit more forgiving with their content. Like Guild Wars, I didn't feel like I was being locked out of content.
Guild Wars is a cool game, but I don't know, man. I just kind of felt like it kind of grew tedious in terms of the enemies grew like real hard, and like the events, the world events, that's what they're called. If there weren't like people around, you couldn't really do them, and I don't know.
I found I don't actually know what they're called in Guild Wars 2. I just kind of took to calling them world events, but
I'm pretty sure that's actually what they're called.
I found leveling in Guild Wars 2 extremely easy. Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, if I just logged in and played for a couple of hours, regardless of how high my level was, I would level a couple of times.
Like, I really enjoyed exploring in that game, but it got to the point where I didn't want to explore because enemies would just, like, destroy me. Like, I would go to this area to look around, and then the enemies would just, like, kill me, and I was like, this isn't fun.
I don't know.
That was kind of how it felt like towards the end of my playing Guild Wars 2 anyway. At this point, I don't really have a desire at this point to go back.
Well, Final Fantasy XIV has similar things to that. They call them fates, all capital letters for some reason. I have no idea why.
Yeah, I like those.
And so they've got the Guild Wars 2 style world events where you go and you fight things and you fight bosses and whatnot. One of the cool things about 14 is that any character can be any class. So you don't have to roll an excessive number of alts to be able to access everything, which I like that a lot of MMOs are moving that direction.
I like alts.
I think one of the helpful things about doing it this way is it allows you to invest a lot of time in a character without having to have as strong a fear that down the line there's going to be an update that's going to render your character far less useful than it was previously.
Right.
So it's like, you can just adjust. Just like it happened in the Secret World. They made some pretty major changes a couple of times since I've been on, and it's very easy to adjust. You just kind of, sort of wait and see what's going on. Everybody kind of shifts over to one thing that they know still works until like the more dominant build emerges under the new patch, under the new system, and then it's pretty easy to convert back over that direction.
Yeah, so long as you are a min-max type of player.
Yeah, and a lot of the Secret World does really encourage that kind of
I've
play,
noticed that because the game is hard
I think one of the reasons why I
if
like
you don't play that way.
Well, I just mean in terms of like the end game content. I mean the solo content outside of like the solo scenarios is actually nobody used to min-max their solo builds ever. It was pointless. There was no reason to waste your time min-maxing your solo your ability to solo mobs because there was no payoff for it. The solo content was way too damn easy.
Right.
Like what I used to do was I just wore my entire DPS set, and then I would put on one health item.
Yeah, I remember that actually.
And that was enough to solo everything that needed to be soloed in the game. Nowadays, that's not the case. And I mean, this was even reasonably successful. Like, I was able to do this, and I was able to solo like the first dungeon by myself. I could even solo like the second one and a lot of the third one, doing it this way without getting very creative. I mean, this was just, oh, hey, this build works for this. Without me trying to really push it to the limits. And I don't know. I like building. I like min-maxing. And I think it's been one of the big appeals of the Secret World to me. It's definitely got that. I think it's got that kind of builder's advantage to it, which I don't really see that in Final Fantasy XIV. It looks like a lot of the game is very. You kind of have a path that you're on, and there's a little bit of freedom in terms of, because the way cross-classing works, when you gain multiple classes, you can use your abilities in some of those classes with other classes. So, there's a little bit of individuality, I guess, to establish there to some degree, but I imagine that completely disappears by the time you're in the end game.
Yeah.
Which is normal anyway. I mean, that's an MMO for you. I think there's a kind of naivety, like when I hear people talk about MMOs, they're like, I want the MMO to be like this. And I'm like, bro, what you're essentially saying is that you want this MMO to have a series of classes and roles that are completely individualized and also completely balanced. That's as naive as it is stupid.
Yeah, like there's no such thing as perfect balance to begin with, unless everything is like a mirror of each other.
Yeah, that's essentially what happens. It's like if you really want like great balance, what you're essentially probably going to end up with is an extreme sense of sameness.
Yeah.
And honestly, that I guess to some degree was actually kind of the feeling that I got with Guild Wars 2 a little bit. Was it felt like it was pretty balanced. It also, the classes all did seem to kind of have a sense of sameness to me, though. But I didn't really play into the end game there, though, so I'm not sure how that ended up working out. They say that Final Fantasy XIV is very well balanced. I don't know. I'm only up to level 33, although I have a second class that's at level 30.
Man, dungeons in Guild Wars 2 were monsters. Like, holy crap! You want to talk about unforgiving?
Yeah, they were pretty. I would say I don't really know how they got later on.
I don't either. But holy crap, where the early ones are.
I think the learning curve starts kind of high there. I don't know if it changed at all. Of course, some of the dungeons, because I played more of the Secret World than anything, a lot of the content in the Secret World was rather challenging. But then it became not so much challenging as time went on.
Right, 'cause you played so much.
Well, yeah. And what's funny, too, is I would also hear people complain that, the game was too easy for certain things. And I'm like, the game's not too easy. We've put hundreds of hours into this. We've spent all of this time making the game content easy. Like, do you remember how frustrating this was when we first used to do it?
That's actually the same way I felt about a lot of people who would talk about City of Heroes. Like, the game is so easy. I'm like, yes, that game, it was easy. But you, like, when Incarnates came out and stuff, like, people were like, oh, it trivializes all the game content and stuff. I'm like, you chose to do that. Like,
it's like, yeah,
you can unequip that stuff if you want and, like, make the game harder. But why would you do that? Because you worked to get it.
It's all about options.
Exactly,
it's like
man.
The first Nightmare dungeon you do in the Secret World, and granted, this happens in the normal dungeon too, in the normal versions too, but it's a lot more annoying in the Nightmare dungeons. Is you fight this big Cthulhu type monster, and he'll go this phase called that's sort of colloquial, or sort of the group the players call the blue phase, where the entire screen goes into like a blue haze, and he becomes invincible and will nuke anybody if he sees them. So you hide behind rocks to avoid him seeing you and blowing you up. This is at the same time while he's summoning ads that will attack you while you're trying to hide. And sometimes he'll break the rock you're hiding behind, and it's such a calamitous event when that happens that it's almost impossible to avoid a TPK when that happens. Which is why, for some people call him the RNG boss, where it's like, hey, look, if the random number generator isn't kind to you, it's a party wipe.
Good luck.
Now the bot, but I played the game so much and ran with certain groups that even when I'm in pugs, because of the way that I know how to play the game now, a lot of times if I'm with like a pug group that's not very good, I'll intentionally like make sure that I'm in the healing role because I can be a healer and a DPS at the same time when I heal in that game, and we basically it's a very rare day where I fight that boss and we actually have to even go through the blue phase. We normally kill him before that happens.
Nice.
But that to me that's the nature of MMOs, and MMO gamers can be a rather fickle lot. Where it's just like, yeah, the game's too easy. It's like, no, the game wasn't easy. We've just worked very hard to make the game.
Right. Everything you're doing at the end game of MMOs is always to make the game easier.
I mean, the
Because you're
game
doing the
needs to
same
be-
stuff.
And the game needs to be accessible to people
Right.
like me who don't really play MMOs that much, you know?
Yeah, which is why the early game is usually much more forgiving than
Right.
Well, and I also think that MMOs have actually done a pretty good job of this too, which is why almost all MMOs have elite versions of their dungeons. So
Mhm.
it's like, yeah, you can go play the secret world and you can do every dungeon in the game and never do an elite.
Actually,
you will have
yeah,
to do
you have to
some
do
elites,
elites.
but
You can't do. You can do no.
you'll
nightmares.
never do nightmares.
Right.
And honestly, the elite dungeons are not particularly difficult. I mean, even for people here like in the secret world, I remembered hearing elite and thinking this was going to be like really tough content. It's not.
You're
Even
like,
for a
this is
new
serious
player,
business.
the elite content's actually pretty easy to get through. I mean, you're more or less expected to be able to do it because they do kind of force you into it by the end of the game. But it's not rough. The difficulty spike comes with the nightmare dungeons.
Which makes
So,
sense. All optional.
I'm kind of hoping that the in-game content of this, I'm hoping it's going to be enjoyable. One of the main things about playing a Japanese MMO, though, is that they always want you to kill all these adorable creatures, and I'm like, I don't want to kill this thing.
It's so cute.
It's like, go out and kill like 8 smiling sheep to prove that you can accept this new class. And I'm like, but they're adorable. They're just kind of fluffy and hopping around,
And they're
they
not
have
hurting anybody.
curly tails. Yeah, and they don't even attack me on sight. They're just like, la la la, we're sheep.
Kill them. Kill them all.
Murder them all.
Anyway, but yeah, for fear of going on too long, I'll say this: the Stick of Truth is awesome. It is filled with inside jokes. If you like the South Park, you'll like the Stick of Truth.
That's
Yeah.
I
Game
played through
wanna
it.
play more of.
I played through it 1.5 times. Just play it. It's a good game. It's
The
very-
writing in that game is just spot on.
It's
man.
written by the creators of the show, so makes sense, right?
Yeah, they said it was a bigger task than they thought it was going to be. They said they underestimated the adjustment that they were going to have to make, given that it was a video game and not a show. They said they had to. Obviously the timing and the style has to be a little bit different. But they do successfully essentially make it feel like you're playing an episode of South Park.
Like a few episodes, because it's not
It's
30
sizable.
minutes. I'll tell you that
Yeah.
right now.
How many
I mean,
hours is it?
If you were to just power through the story, it's like a couple of hours. If you go and like fiddle around it a lot, there's maybe like 20 hours of gameplay or so. It's not a long game, but it's a very enjoyable game.
Yeah,
Nice.
there's a lot of attention paid to detail in that game.
Yeah, I don't have a lot to say about Injustice: Gods Among Us because I've only played about 2 hours of it, but the 2 hours I played was fun.
I played that game last year, and I wasn't very good at it, but yeah, I enjoyed that one too. I had to play Batman, of course. Batman was my go-to, man.
Gotta love Batman, man.
I'm
Batman,
Lord.
man. Haha.
So- Well,
Look at my
Injustice has
character, Jason.
Injustice
Good
has like
God.
that story mode kind of style thing that they established with like DC versus MK when they started doing those really detailed storylines, and they progressed through with Mortal Kombat 9 and had a lot of success with that. So I was playing it and ended up in the chapter where I had to play Aquaman, and I was playing Aquaman, and I was like, wow, this guy is really fun to play. Like Aquaman was easily the most fun character I had playing of the characters I've played so far.
Nobody likes Aquaman.
I actually need to find that image of Aquaman. There's this pretty epic image of like, I found it on TV Tropes. I think it was called like the Useless Useful Power or something like that.
Don't ever go to TV tropes because the rest of your day will disappear.
Oh yes, Oh yes, it just disappears, and you have like 80 million tabs open.
How have I been here for 16 hours?
I've
Yeah, God.
never been to TV Tropes.
Oh,
Don't
and-
ever go.
And the same thing if you want to pick up like a new webcomic,
No.
but you'll just, especially if it's an old one, just make sure your day is open.
I
'Cause
got you.
you're not going anywhere. But yeah, it was. I don't even remember what I was saying now. Oh well, whatever.
Injustice.
Yeah.
Something about Injustice. I liked
And
Aquaman.
it was
Oh yeah,
TV
it was
tropes.
Aquaman's. Somebody taking a new interpretation of Aquaman's power, and it was like, oh, it doesn't seem shitty now, does it?
Nice.
It's basically he uses his ability to command the creatures of the ocean to turn Cthulhu into his willing slave, his like willing cohort.
Bring Cthulhu in. Oh, man. Blue Thulu, go! Oh, Jesus.
I just realized why I can't progress this mission. It's because I'm not supposed to be killing these things.
And Isaac,
you-
I'm supposed to kill everything.
Yeah, I'm just watching your disturbing mutated character.
Besides that, I've got a giant fly hovering around me.
You've got
I've
minions.
got a little devil, and I've got little Steven, which is this weird, like, tiny Mr. Popo looking thing.
My God, this game is insane.
Oh, yeah.
I need to get this.
It's
at some point.
fantastic.
So,
I love how Mr. Popo isn't
oh
like a
my
racist caricature or anything.
No, not at all.
Oh, not at all. Never.
Why would you even say something like that, really?
I remembered being at my old job at the movie theater and somebody telling me like, "Hey, you know Mr. Popo from Dragon Ball Z?" I'm like, "Yeah, I remember him." He's like, "Did you know that he's supposed to be a black human being?" I was like, "You gotta be shitting me."
That's what Japanese think black people look like, apparently.
Well, like,
I
it
didn't
really
even
looks
know
like
that.
one of those like racist caricatures from like the 1910s, where they like make some. It's like so they basically made like the Tar Baby and gave it big bright purple or big bright pink lips. It's like holy shit, wow,
Like, wow,
wow.
I don't know if it's
Uh.
ignorance or, like, malicious.
I like
I think it's a cultural divide.
just the way that like that black people are always drawn in anime. It never looks right.
I wouldn't
man.
say always. I've seen a few interpretations that are, appropriate. But,
Really.
yeah.
I haven't yet, but there again, I don't watch much new anime.
I mean, I don't really watch anime these days, but
I'm still stuck back in the 90s.
I do every now and then.
Well, that movie that I saw yesterday, Big Hero 6. Like I said, it's a Marvel property, but it's a Marvel property that kind of is trying to imitate a manga. And it actually takes place in San Francisco.
Nice.
This run is completely doomed, by the way, just for the record. Like, there's no way I'm surviving.
Hey man, you're doing what you can. You're doing what you
Don't
can.
most
go
runs
ahead.
of Binding of Isaac reach that point at some point? From what I can
It depends on who you are. Some people are really good at this game. Like, really stupidly good.
I think I tried it for a little while. I don't know. The little bit that I played didn't really inspire me.
I
Did
should
you,
just
did you
mention for-
like, buy it? Because it's not a free game.
No, I might have tried it at your place. Come to think of it,
No, man. I'm pretty darn sure that I've never shown you
Was
the
it-
Binding of Isaac.
was it available for like a trial at some point? I know
No.
I've played it at one point, but I don't know. I don't remember when or what capacity it was that I did it, but it didn't really capture me.
Who knows?
Yeah, I
Maybe
found
someone
it was
else
more
showed it
fun
to you.
watch. I found it was more fun to watch than to play.
I get you. I can understand that.
We should just mention on this podcast that if you're looking to watch people play games and be really good, you're watching the wrong podcast
Oh, yeah.
or video stream.
Because
whatever
I am
we're
not
calling
good at
this.
games, but I love to play them.
Yeah,
See, I'm telling you, I need
same
to
here.
pre-record. I need to log into TSW one day and pre-record some of our nightmare runs. Like I
Do
said, that stuff gets kind of absurd pretty
Yeah,
quickly.
you could, when you host the stream, man, do it however you want to do it.
Yeah, man.
Although, the Secret World has gotten kind of interesting now. I think because the game has been out for over 2 years, it seems like a big portion of the community at this point are just seasoned veterans of the game.
Mm.
So even though you will end up in groups that are fairly new, like I even I got into one group where they were like, hey, we're going to do, they're looking for like a healer for relaxed 18s or relaxed 24s, which is like code for the first three or the first four dungeons respectively, or the easiest four nightmare dungeons. And relaxed means, not necessarily experienced or anything. And then I get in the group and like everyone is 10-4, 10-5, which is like top gear level. And we're just blowing everything out of the water.
Well, I mean, that's
and
why they weren't uptight about who they recruited. It makes sense.
Yeah, they're basically just saying, yeah, whatever, we don't care, we'll take anybody. And I was like, this is the best relaxed group I've ever been in.
I approve.
I would enjoy that.
It's always annoying when you get up with really uptight people in MMOs. Like, I understand if it's, you run with a usual group and it's like, okay, guys, tonight we're going to conquer, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, we're on board, but like a random pickup group that's all serious business, it's like, okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Let's
I can
chill out a
understand it
little,
to
guys.
some degree because I have seen people who sometimes I think they get a little too they get a little too angry about it, where you will ask for somebody who's experienced and geared
Yeah.
for something.
I mean,
And
if
then
you
you'll
want
realize
to
that they're
conquer a certain
not.
challenge, yeah, I understand.
Well, it's like, sometimes people are on time limits, and, we're trying to pick up a group of people who, like, hey, we got to get through this in a little while. Let's pick up a couple of people who know what they're doing, and then you'll end up with someone. You don't necessarily notice that they're not really geared for it until you're already far enough into the dungeon where you're locked in, so you can't really find a replacement or leave and try again.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my god, this person doesn't know what they're doing. It's like, why? Like, okay, so when we asked for experienced and geared people, why did you?
Yeah,
why
like,
did
we
you
meant
come
it.
in here?
My God, this game is just insane.
Oh, yeah. I just beat 3 bosses in this boss.
Yeah, I did not think you were going to beat the last boss a minute ago.
I can't believe I'm still alive. Like, I should not still be alive at all. But here I am, and I'm trying to make the run work with every bit of fiber of my being. I'm gambling now in the hopes of getting a spirit heart, which will give me 3 hearts of health.
So it's totally random.
It's totally random, man.
Mm.
Oh, and it didn't
So,
give me any and it exploded, so nope.
Dagnabbit. So coming off the Halloween season, I finally beat The Last of Us Remastered on PS4.
Hey, cool.
And man, that game, it was already really incredible on PS3, and it's equally as outstanding and more pretty on PS4. Let's see. I want to go back and play through the New Game Plus mode, and I'll probably stream some of that. But oh man, what sets that game apart from so many others is the writing and the character development. Like, you get really attached to these characters that you're playing.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, man. Most games just don't tend to do that as well as this one does.
It's difficult
Like-
to write like a relatable and interesting character.
I mean, Naughty Dog just has it down because, like, Uncharted, it's the same deal. Like,
Yeah.
you really care about those characters.
And
you know?
they don't know how to make some engaging games, that's for sure.
Yeah, yep, they really do, man. But, there are also the online modes, which I haven't tried, and I don't know, man. Online games typically, like, they just don't do it for me too much. So, we'll see. Maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised, but I don't even have a PlayStation Plus membership at this point, so...
And I gotta be honest with you about online games is, I kind of think a lot of times with an online game, if you're not eventually becoming part of a community, you're sort of missing out on a big portion of the game.
Yeah, I think that's true, but there again, like, I guess I think of games like, Call of Duty and things like that, which, the new Call of Duty just came out as it does every year.
But it's apparently
then-
actually like pretty good this year, which is stunning. Like the
Really?
single player,
Wow.
yeah.
Call of Duty is the Madden of first-person shooters.
Oh yeah.
It is. But, the game is totally based online, and I just don't understand how you can get into that community of something like that.
Well, I mean, people who are competitive by nature, of course, right? People who like games that are competitive.
I guess.
I think at the
Uh,
same time, Call of Duty is one of those games that doesn't require you to invest a lot of time into it. It's sort of a pick up and play kind of thing.
I
My thing
don't
is-
even pretend to know. Like the
Well, what I just mean is you don't have to sit there and like you don't have to go and like gain levels and grind up gear and go
last
you know,
boss.
Yeah, you don't have to kill the dragon tank of North Korea to get the over and over again to get like the drop you need in order to be
Okay.
competitive.
I got one
in
hit left.
PvP, right? You can just play it. So I think it's
Yeah.
good for maybe a lot of working people who just want to go home and shoot their friends and strangers in the face,
Helps
only to
stress
have them
relief.
respawn and shoot them again.
Right. Yeah, I guess my problem is I go in and get
No!
shot over and over again. What happened?
This cannot be.
Oh. Did you
And-
die?
And
Yeah,
and
he had like a
Richter-
sliver of health, and he was the last boss. I have like a 1-up, so I can fight him again, but I have like half of a heart, so I'm dead.
Well, I
Oh,
thought
it's
maybe
all over.
Richter had just vanquished.
I'm dead.
Dracula.
Oh.
And I respawn again. But because you have a 50% chance with one of the items I got to respawn every time you die, so until that 50% chance fails me, I'm coming back. But anyway, continue. It's just I'm invested in this run now.
Let's see. The other thing I've been playing
I died again.
is
I actually died.
No.
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 I've been playing Saints Row 4, which playing that for the PC. Got it on sale on Steam for really, really cheap. It was like $10. Just an incredible deal for a game that's it's probably maybe a little over a year old now. That game is just so much fun, man. Like it is the best superhero game I've ever played. Just moving around the city, and you're almost flying, really. And the fact that you can dress up and kind of make your character just about any superhero you want just kind of adds to the fun of it.
Yeah, not necessarily a superhero. You can just make him ridiculous.
Oh yeah, yeah. And Saints Row is all about being ridiculous now. It's kind of gone that way since Saints Row 3. Which Saints Row 3, I don't know which one I like better, man. I liked Saints Row 3 a lot, but I like all the zany powers in Saints Row 4. So it kind of evens out, I guess. But yeah, I've almost beaten that one.
Cool, man.
This
It's
is
been a lot of
and-
fun for me too. So
Yep, I was gonna say we've been, been able to play that one together.
yeah, we've
I
been
want
doing some
another
of that.
Sleeping Dogs.
You what now?
I want another Sleeping Dogs.
They released the HD remake.
Eh.
Yeah.
HD remake. It was already What did it need to be in HD already?
Apparently, it needed to look even better.
Yeah, it's higher texture.
Like HD remakes
Textures
are
and
for
stuff.
games that came out in like the 90s or the 80s.
Not anymore.
Oh, what was it? 8 years ago? Yeah, time for an HD remake. That's just. You know what that is? That's just fishing for money, is what that is.
Pretty much. Yeah, I
Because
was
Sleeping
wait-
Dogs didn't have enough DLC.
Oh,
I know.
Well, this comes with all the DLC.
Unfortunately, the DLC I found pretty. I found the DLC.
Lackluster.
Yeah, I did. I mean, I didn't finish the New Year's event, so I don't know how that turned out. But the one where like you go to the Kung Fu Island was sort of disappointing for me.
I kind of enjoyed that one.
And it was really short. And I guess, I mean, I know it was supposed to kind of be a silly homage to, Bruce Lee.
Yeah,
But in a
70s
way, I
kung
kind
fu
of wanted
movies.
there to be more of a story than there was.
I don't know. I thought it was fun.
What's up, Alucard Munster?
That would be me.
Okay, I wasn't sure, so I wanted to say something.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't really have anybody in chat yet, but hey,
Yeah, we didn't exactly do a lot of announcement about this. That's why it's a test episode, man.
yeah, pretty much. But
Probably
hopefully,
better that way to some degree.
Indeed,
hopefully in the future,
that's right.
But yeah, man, Saints Row, just a real blast. Like, I mean, it's got issues, certainly. It's got a lot of pop in. It's essentially the Saints Row 3 engine just modified with all these crazy superpowers and this ridiculous story. But there are all these crazy sci-fi and old video game references. There's a Streets of Rage reference in there,
Yeah,
which just,
it's
maybe,
great.
yeah.
Is Hagar someone that can come in and pile drive somebody?
Nobody should be.
Or is it Hagar? I don't know how to pronounce
Mike
it.
Hagar. That's how I always said it. I don't
Yeah.
See, with 3 different pronunciations right there.
Yeah. That was Mike Hagar doing a pile driver. And that's pretty much what I've been playing. Like, over Halloween, we watched Fright Night here, which is an old, like, I guess it's from the 80s horror movie. And, I don't know, man. I just love my cheesy horror movies, so it was right up my alley, and I had
Yeah.
actually never seen it before. But, yeah, it's a lot of fun.
I had such a fun Halloween this year because my parents moved into a neighborhood that actually gets a lot of trick-or-treaters.
Really?
So we were all over at my parents' house, and we had a lot of kids coming to the door. It's stress. If in a sort of, it's funny too though. As many as we had, they live up a cul-de-sac off of the main street, and they got a fraction of the kids that were on the main street. So,
Wow.
and it was still a lot.
That's pretty wild, man.
It was fun. I went as a wizard slacker.
Wizard
saw-
Slacker.
I saw the pictures on Facebook.
Yeah, so I already had the wizard hat. I didn't want to spend any money on any kind of costume, so I put on my wizard hat, and then I put on like sweatpants and a wife beater and a bathrobe, and I carried around my tablet as my spell book
I
because
like
I was
it.
I was a modern wizard slacker,
Right.
and I grew out all my stubble in the days leading up to it, so I was just this unshaven, gross-looking wizard.
It's
Very
pretty
nice.
much hilarious.
Just a wizard who like sits on the couch, sits on his parents' couch in the basement his whole life. He's like, yeah. Then he like wants a beer, so he just uses his magic to like open the refrigerator from across the room and get his beer out of the refrigerator.
As it should be.
He's got to watch his soap operas on television.
Oh, that's how you know you've been home way too long.
I don't think anything could inspire me to watch a soap opera.
No, I don't think anything could inspire me to watch one either.
Yeah, me neither. No thanks. Got better things to do. Like play video games.
Exactly. So let's talk about some news of the world that we actually care about, shall we?
Yes.
Because,
Let's
you
do
know,
it.
I think the only one informed on real news here is Adam. Andrew and I, not so much.
No, I don't keep up with real life.
Well, you didn't vote in the midterms?
You're
Oh,
funny.
hell no.
You're funny.
Hell no. I don't even know who was running or the issues or anything like that, man.
One of them's as crooked as the next.
Exactly. They're all just a bunch of crooks, so why bother? It's the way I look at it, anyway.
Me too. I think I kind of rubbed off on you in that way, actually.
Yeah, I think so. I used to
that-
be pretty big into politics, but the last
I was
couple
always
of years,
saying that to you, like, man, why do you bother?
there's no
But anyway.
point.
It's just my
So-
opinion. Many people disagree with me.
Oh, yeah, yeah. A family member of ours certainly has disagreed with me on this topic, and I'm like, sorry, I disagree. You have fun voting.
Yeah, exactly.
But-
It's like, hey, I'm not saying, hey, don't vote if you want to.
Yeah,
More
if you
power
wanna
to you.
Take your
I
time
just
to do
don't
that,
see the point. Yeah, I'm not going to take my time to do it.
But
'Cause
I,
Well, my
It's
thought
that, it's
is
my
is
time.
that we can acknowledge that there's a lot of corruption in the system, but that voting is kind of the first step in like a minimal effort you can put forward to try to address those issues.
I
Well, it's
don't
not going to
think
be
that
addressed, man. So it's like a complete exercise in
Yeah,
futility. You know, it's like
it just
it's
does
a
not
nice
matter.
idea, but it's exactly that, an idea.
Hey, look at this! I'm actually going to get a good earring. These are like hard to find.
Adam, I never knew that you even got pierced.
Well, not in my ear.
Oh,
I was kind of wondering if you might go there, to be honest.
you went with that Prince Albert?
Well, I mean, they were selling it in a can, so I was like, oh, why not?
Do you have Prince Albert in the can? Well, if you do, then you should take him out, because he is suffocating. You're stupid! Anyway. Brian
the
Regan
thing is-
reference end.
Use the world we care about.
The weird thing that I don't get though is that the motto, like the jingle of Prince Albert in a can, is "Shave your back." I don't get it.
Shave your back. Shave.
Ooh, we just went retro wrestling on
We
that.
sure did.
Did.
But
we're
yeah,
so-
how about the news we care about?
News we care about. I don't really know if we care about this story, but let's see. Let's talk about it anyway. Yeah, let's do it. Blizzard announces brand new game Overwatch.
I don't even know about that.
Oh, really?
Because I don't really follow Blizzard stuff.
From the ashes of Titan comes Overwatch, a brand new game and universe from Blizzard Entertainment. The newest addition to the Blizzard family was announced at today's, which not really today's, but a couple of days ago, BlizzCon.
I knew that BlizzCon happened. I just didn't actually follow up on news. Huh.
Yep,
I feel
it
stupid
was announced
about
at their opening ceremony.
Nifty.
Overwatch is a co-op team-based multiplayer shooter that certainly seems to have taken cues from Team Fortress 2.
Gee, what a surprise.
I know. You have to admire how Blizzard revealed the game, too. It teased a new announcement, showed a lengthy CG trailer, followed by a gameplay trailer, mentioned an upcoming beta, and revealed everything in attending could play the game. Sorry, I can't read. And so, yeah, I mean, the reveal was cool, but I guess my thing is, goddammit, another shooter, you know?
Yeah,
But-
well, I mean, at least it's not a modern military FPS, so, like, I complain, but...
Yeah,
Whatever.
but it does look intriguing, I
And
will say
team-based
that.
shooters, to me, are much more interesting than, like, free-for-all shooters.
Yeah.
Oh, did you try Destiny by chance?
No, I didn't.
I tried the demo of Destiny. Like, not the demo, but the beta. And, man, there's a lot of potential with Destiny, you know? The problem is just that there's not much to do at this point.
Yeah, it sounds like it's kind of a
understand.
grind fest, like, really quickly, which I'm not really interested in an FPS.
I mean, I feel like if you just wait for the PC version to come out, then you'll be good, because they'll have all that additional content. But, man, console gamers really got pretty screwed on the deal.
I just from what I've heard about it, it seems kind of funny to me that the most expensive game ever made only has a few hours of content.
Right?
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense, does it?
I say a few hours of content. Obviously, a lot of it is meant to be
Replayed, yeah.
Yeah, there's being in it, but it's the most irritating kind of grinding that I kind of think MMOs, and this is sort of an MMO, needs to. A lot of MMOs have found ways to address this. It's that the whole random loot drop
Yep.
to get the best stuff in the game
You
is
just
really
keep-
obnoxious.
Yeah, you keep doing the same thing over and over because that's like the only loot table where you can find the best stuff.
Right, and you know, something like the Secret World does a really good job subverting this. They do have some, like, there's like one raid in particular where there is a random component to things that drop, but the items are really non-essential. They're good. They're better than what you can otherwise get, but they're not essential at all.
Yeah.
They're almost more trophies than anything.
Which is
Or they're
cool.
just ways to be like, aha, I squeezed an extra 2% out of my performance. Now I will top all the tables.
I have become Death Destroyer of loot tables.
Yeah, so I think what these places, a lot of what games need to do in these instances is they need to find a way to allow the players to progress gradually without having it rely entirely on an RNG.
Yeah, that would be nice, but I don't really know the elegant solution, so...
Oh, like I said, the Secret World does a really good job of this. Basically, you're not really playing the in-game content for drops. You're playing it for currency that you get after killing each of the bosses in the high-end content, and you trade in that currency for the gear that you want. So it's specific, and you're always progressing. So
But
long
the
as you're
thing
doing
is,
the
it's so slow. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, I like that there's an option. City of Heroes did the same thing. But it's so slow.
It is slow. You know, grinding for gear is slow too. Just, you know, waiting for the right thing to drop. I think.
Yeah, that's why I don't do it.
The advantage this system has, though, is that, like I said, it gives the player, at the very least, the sensation that he or she is always progressing.
Yeah.
You've always made progress toward your goal. At the end of the day, whenever you've done these dungeons. You
Yeah.
you haven't just been, well, that thing I wanted
Didn't drop.
and,
Good luck. It was a waste of time.
or it did drop and somebody rolled against me on it and I didn't get it, so now the entire effort feels like a waste. Like, I suspect it probably ends up working out to about the same amount of time. It's
But-
just that one way gives you the sense that you've done something, and
Yeah,
one way makes you
And you're
frustrated and annoyed.
guaranteed to eventually get what you want.
Right.
So, there you go.
I don't know. To
Yay.
me, man, I really care about stories in games. Like, that's, if there's not a story to motivate me forward, it's very hard for me to continue playing.
Dude, depending on how, I'm gonna keep coming back to this today apparently, but depending on how you like your story, if you want a really at the very least a lot of interesting things going on story-wise, again, The Secret World is an excellent choice.
Yeah, I know. It sucks because it was on sale, I think, last week or something
Was it?
for like $10, but I couldn't get it at the time. Like, we've just had too many bills, too many things to come up.
You see, here's what's awesome about The Secret World. It's so tied up in real life. I'm going to say this in a weird way. It's real life in the sense that these stories exist in real life, even if these stories are not actually referencing anything that exists in reality, but it's tied up in actual conspiracy theories and mythologies and various religions that a lot of times you'll see something in the game and you'll be like, and you'll start to get the sense of, I think this is supposed to be somebody. And then you might even go online and start doing some research on it and find out that you think this person is somebody. Like, for example, in the Halloween event, there's this guy called the Cat God who has actually been around since the 2012 event, but I had never seen him until this year. And when you defeat the Cat God, he turns into this guy who starts talking to you in this weird way. And I was sitting here listening to him talk, and I was like, is this guy supposed to be Papa Legba, the deity from Haitian voodoo? And I haven't gone and confirmed it, but it's just that kind of thing. They will never tell you, this is Papa Legba.
Right.
But they'll give you all these weird hints. And it's like, it's bizarre. It ends up being this very interesting. I think it is the quintessential example of how cryptic storytelling should be done.
I
like
love the cryptic storytelling in Dark Souls myself, because I don't like playing Dark Souls all that much because I suck. But I love I've watched so many YouTube videos of lore analysis and stuff, and the way that Dark Souls presents its lore. So, yeah.
Yeah, cryptic storytelling can be disastrous when
It
it's
really
done
can.
poorly. I'll point to Metal Gear for that.
Gear.
It isn't to say that the individual
Hey.
stories in Metal Gear or the individual plots in the games are not necessarily interesting, but
Best
I don't.
story ever.
I think
That wasn't
everyone
nice.
kind of realized by the end of Metal Gear Solid 2 that it didn't even look like the writers knew what the fuck was going on. And I honestly don't think they did. I think that they got to the end of Metal Gear and decided that they had to paste all of this together somehow, which is why the Metal Gear series ends in a 2-hour info dump.
Well, the Metal Gear Solid series is not over, ironically.
Well,
but
Nope.
it was
even though it's
supposed
supposed
to.
to be.
Yeah, it was supposed to
Metal
have
Gear
ended.
Solid 4, man. Conclusion to Snake's story. Nope.
Hey, ready
phenomenal
from the
ending
MGS5?
That I went and watched on YouTube, and I was just thinking you've got to be kidding me. This is how they tie up the loose ends. This is the worst. This is what they would teach you in a creative writing class in the second week. Don't do this. Don't get to the end of your story and have a character monologue to explain everything to make sure that all the players have some sense of, okay, I kind of know what happened.
Behind the scenes, right?
Kind of.
This is a terrible
It is-
idea.
It's definitely kind of, because even after you've beaten the entire game, what is it, MGS4 for PlayStation 3? Anyway, even after you've beaten that, you're still left kind of scratching your head, wondering, I don't know about some of these loose ends,
Well, I think part of the problem with that is because the info dump is so large and so complicated,
Yeah,
it's kind
yeah.
of difficult to even put together what is being told to you because there was so much information, and it was just dude, this is not how to tell a story. This is awful.
Maybe if I sat down and read through it a couple of times, But yeah, it's not great. I love Metal Gear Solid 4. I thought it was overall a really good game. Slash kind of cinematic movie.
Oh no.
But yeah, it certainly has its issues.
I
Oh
mean,
wow,
they
so you're playing Judas now, Phantoms Wise. Sorry.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's all
I'm Judas, and I accidentally just walked out of the devil room, tried to escape these bombs, and now I can't go back in. No.
Etu Judas.
What?
Sure.
Etu Judas.
Yeah, I thought it was Brute, though.
It should be Brutus anyway.
Yeah.
I'm kind of mixing.
Sure.
things.
Yeah, A2.
Brodus
A2
Clay.
me.
All right, I don't know. I don't know why I was trying to blend those two things together.
Hey,
but
it works.
regardless.
Works for me, man. I'm easy.
Or
Oh,
wrestling, whatever.
god dang
When
it.
Julius Caesar is killed by Brutus, he says Etu Brutus, or he's killed by a group of people, including Brutus.
Yeah, A2 Brute.
But this is Judas, obviously, not Brutus.
I'm just
That
thinking.
is truth.
In my
Nice.
mind, that made sense.
Well, I know how it is, man. I know how it is. I feel you, G. Don't worry about it.
So you guys like anime, right?
Hey,
Not
pretty
particularly.
good.
Well, you like Miyazaki, right?
Yeah.
Hayao Miyazaki.
That was like universal from there.
Yeah. Pretty much everybody. Like, if you don't like Hayao Miyazaki, I'm convinced you probably don't have a soul.
If you don't like Miyazaki, then you just like have a prejudice against like things that are animated in that way, basically.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, even people who don't really like anime that much usually like Miyazaki films. It's, it's like if you were to hate Disney films, I guess. But anyway.
I can show you the world,
Shining,
shimmering, splendid.
Oh, the delay.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about it. Sorry about that. My bad,
no,
my
it's
bad.
fine. It was just like It's weird.
No,
It's like,
what's happening?
So
so hard to do.
Miyazaki
It
has said, quote, "I'm going to continue making anime until I die."
I saw that and I was like, oh, so much for that retirement, huh? It wasn't even a year, right?
Yeah, I think it was maybe a year.
Yeah, but
I don't
Studio
know,
Ghibli is closed now, so this is going to be weird. Is he going to make it for another studio?
Apparently, it's not totally closed because they were saying that he's still been at Studio Ghibli every day. And basically,
He changed his mind.
pretty much, I'm trying to find the part of it here. Let's see. He told the Associated Press, "I'm going to continue making anime until I die." In stark contrast to the complex themes of Miyazaki's films and even personal life, the sentiments behind his declaration are as pure and straightforward as can be. Quote, "I like creating stories and drawing pictures." End quote.
Yeah,
You know-
that's pretty simple.
I just had a brilliant strike of inspiration.
Well, before you say that, let me.
Okay, go ahead.
There.
Sorry, go for it.
He went on to reveal that planning has begun for a Miyazaki-helmed short film at the Saturn Theater inside the Tokyo Ghibli Museum. So he's basically doing this short film, but we don't have any more details. It's basically we don't know how long it's going to be until that comes out.
Hmm.
And granted, his latest film in Japan isn't even out in the States yet, so...
Well, cool.
So yeah, Miyazaki, man, coming back.
All
He
right.
is- he just can't stay away.
Apparently,
Domo
no.
arigato, Mr. Miyazaki.
Miyazaki-o.
Yes. So what's your thought there, Adam?
Inspiration.
Okay, so someone more
Inspiration.
talented than I needs to start like a series of short films, maybe even just 4 internet films that are done like in the art style, and maybe even in like a sort of a similar storytelling style to Studio Ghibli. But they need to be like hyper violent, possibly like torture porn style videos, maybe in like
Oh,
the same
God.
vein as Saw, and they can call it Studio Giblet.
Oh God.
Nice.
Or they can call the series or their studio that's making this Studio Giblet.
Studio Giblets.
You're
Presents.
demented. You're a
I'm on
demented
board.
man, Adam.
I'm on board. I like the first Saw film. After the first, not so much.
I think it came
I
a
don't think
point where
anybody
even
liked it after the first Saw. film.
yeah, I think there was a point where even like the really big Saw defenders were like, "What is this shit?"
Yeah, it's funny because I was watching that link you posted on Facebook, Adam, talking about the top 11 Halloween films from that guy with the glasses, and
Uh-huh.
he was talking about Saw, and how it wasn't really his cup of tea. But then for a while, how every Halloween, they would release a new Saw film, and it's like they just got progressively worse.
I mean, when that's your call to action for a movie is like, we got to have it out by this date, that's probably a bad sign to begin with.
Yeah.
I mean, I Saw 2 in theaters. It was actually what my wife and I's first date. Yeah, wrap your mind around that for a minute.
Yeah, wow.
That's a special movie to see together for your first date.
And we saw it the day after Halloween. And even the second Saw movie felt contrived. I was like, really? Like, I just think you're being like seriously, like it felt like they were with such difficulty trying to force this story into existence, and it just didn't even feel organic along the lines of the first movie. And then I gave the third movie a chance because, like, all right, the second movie was ass. Maybe the third movie will be better. Nope.
Yeah. I feel like that first film was just a one-time success,
It really was, and I think one of the big problems with it was that the first movie was this low-budget, basically indie film.
Yeah, certainly.
That became like a big-budget, like, studio film, and it just lost its way very quickly as soon as that happened.
Yep, I agree, man.
It's something they also kind of gave up. Actually, you know what it is? I've got a great. I just realized how I can explain this. It gave up that weird sort of like uneasy tone for just being a violent movie with a twist at the end. So it's essentially a like slasher horror grindhouse version of M. Night Shyamalan movies.
Yeah, that's a very good example. It really is a shame because the first one was so cool. But, I mean, that happens with a lot of films, particularly horror films. I feel like they strike gold. Like, if they were to try to come out with an Oculus 2, it would probably suck.
There was this one movie that I don't remember which one it was. It was the one that had the actress who played Darla and Angel from it. I don't remember which Saw this was because I never really watched any other Saws all the way through. But it was one of these movies where it was entirely reliant on all of the people that Jigsaw was torturing, acting like complete idiots. I mean, it was very obvious from the first task of clearly they're supposed to work together. Like, that's the entire point of this exercise. Clearly they're supposed to work together. And you're saying it the entire time because the solution that they never do the obvious solution. Instead, they do like the like absolute path of most resistance with every single one of these tasks, at least that I saw.
Good job, guys.
It was like, wow. Like, I realize you people are supposed to be selfish, but apparently you're all like sub 90 IQ too, because this is you are one of the biggest conglomeration of idiots I've seen since Congress last was in session.
Oh damn, son.
There's some political humor.
Tee.
Well, or is it even humor? But, yeah, another problem with Saw, and this is totally off topic, I'll get off this in a minute, was it just brought about all these, like...
imitators?
Torture, yeah, kind of torture porn films. And I don't care to sit there for an hour, 2 hours, whatever, and watch people get tortured. To me, that is just not appealing.
I hear that.
And they made so many horror movies like that, and I don't know. For a while, I feel like the horror movie genre went in a pretty bad direction.
Hostel was one of the most unpleasant movie experiences I've ever had.
It's one of the ones I won't watch, and there's really very few things I just refuse to watch, but Hostel, I won't go near it, man.
The Hostel, a lot of people could easily of a different mindset than me could watch it and say that they were like offended by it. Hostel didn't offend me at all. I was just sitting there going, why would I even want to subject myself to seeing something like this? Like it really is just torture porn. I mean, and it doesn't have I don't know. I don't really know how to explain the charm of the first Saw movie. I think it's just because Saw is kind of this mystery wrapped around this horrible story, and even though the acting isn't always that good, there's kind of a couple of interesting things going on. And Hostel, nothing interesting is going on. Hostel is just this movie where it's like, let's watch these people get subjected to some of like the worst shit you could imagine somebody happening to somebody, and I'm just sitting here going, why? Like, this is entertainment? This is not entertaining.
Yeah, it's really not.
It's
To
disturbing.
me, that movie just goes for shock value, and not shock value in a good way. You know, you can have some shocking things in your movie to get a reaction and still have a decent movie, but this was not that. Not at all. But that's, yeah. I mean, everybody has their own movie they like, I guess, but
Yeah, some people like it, clearly.
I'm staying away from that stuff.
You know, since you brought up that top 11 new Halloween classics, which was from that guy with the glasses, Doug Walker, the nostalgia critic.
Yep, good stuff.
His most recent video posed an interesting question. So what is everybody's other good M. Night Shyamalan movie? Because it seems like everybody has that other one that they also like.
You know, I don't think I've seen enough M. Night Shyamalan films to really comment on that.
So it was like everyone liked The Sixth Sense, but apparently there was at least one more that everybody liked. I completely agreed with Doug Walker's assessment, though. His other one that he liked was also the other one that I liked. It was Unbreakable.
Haven't seen that, but The Sixth Sense was a good movie.
Oh, you should see Unbreakable. It's actually pretty good.
Ah, I have to check it out, man. Add it to my ridiculously long list of films. There was another point I wanted to make about the... I wanted to mention that in Saw, I think what made it interesting was the moral choice, you know, in those movies. Like, all right, some of these people are kind of assholes and deserve to die, but, you know, would you kill them to save yourself, you know?
You see, that was actually one of the areas where I thought it was fairly weak. I sort of saw these moral choices sort of being like these false moral choices. As
I
well as
thought they were well done.
just kind of the silliness of this guy. Like, I've never murdered anybody. It's like, yes, you have. By like every legal system, by like every metric, any sensible person, you've clearly murdered people. You know, this weird sort of... I thought that the attempt to turn this guy into some sort of, like, weird, misguided moral agent was a little ridiculous. Like, it almost seemed like they wanted us to think of him that way in some way, as opposed to just realizing this guy was obviously a maniac.
I thought it worked well, man. Now, granted, it's been a long time since I've seen that movie, and I was fairly young. I mean, maybe now that I am quote-unquote an adult, I would feel differently about it. But I don't know. I am not sure. But we should move on here. X-Wing, TIE Fighter, and others coming to Good Old Games. Basically, LucasArts is releasing a bunch of their old stuff on Good Old Games, and that is going to include, as I said, X-Wing, TIE Fighter, Star Wars X-Wing Special Edition, Star Wars TIE Fighter Special Edition. Let's see. Sam and Max Hit the Road. I guess that's a LucasArts game.
I guess. I don't know.
Secret of Monkey Island Special Edition, Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic.
Well, cool. Hey, I'm all for getting more games on more platforms, so rock on.
Yeah. Also coming to PC out of nowhere, Valkyrie Chronicles.
That's actually already on Steam. I
Is
saw
it?
it on.
Wow.
Yep, saw it on my Steam intro page yesterday. It is out.
They got that up quick.
They were like,
So-
"Yeah, that's coming out in like a week,"
So
and
speaking
it
of
came out.
Speaking of torturing yourself, go pick up Valkyrie Chronicles.
The thing is, it's like a good
Good
game.
torture.
Yeah, like it's hard as crap, but it's a really good game.
It is.
And I'm just not very
incredibly hard.
strategically minded, so I'm real
Yeah.
bad.
Same here.
I don't recall. Is Valkyrie Chronicles, is that 2D?
No, it's a 3D game. It's one of like the first 3D strategy RPGs I can think of.
Yeah, isn't there another game that has the word Valkyrie in it that's like a side scroller style, like beat 'em up,
Sure, I don't know.
kind of? It's got like a. Oh no, I think I must be thinking of Odin Sphere.
Oh yeah, Odin Sphere is awesome.
Which, of course, okay, I wasn't that far off. We still got a Norse thing going on there.
Odin Spear.
Now that game was also hard as balls.
That is, I've never seen anyone get as pissed off as I have Andrew at a game.
That game drove
Odin
me to the
Sphere,
brink of
man.
insanity.
You were so pissed, and
That-
John just thought it
He
was
cracked up
hilarious.
so much. That was fun.
The days.
In a like I want to murder the creators of this game sort of way.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I just had an amazing thought. We need to do a live stream of Desert Bus one day for this for this
Desert
podcast.
Bus?
Desert Bus. Oh, you don't know about Desert Bus?
Nah, no idea, man.
Somebody is really behind on their AVGN.
Apparently. I don't really
Oh,
watch like Mike and James Mondays. Like I don't find them entertaining.
No, this was a real AVGN.
Okay, yeah, I'm just behind then. Have never seen it.
Have to go and check that one out. Also, Majora's Mask 3DS is on its way, although it doesn't have a release date yet. And there was a Nintendo Direct conference. It was a Nintendo Direct, but
Yeah.
the big news out of it was pretty much the Majora's Mask.
Yeah, Majora's Mask is a weird beast because it's like one of those Zelda games that very few people actually played because like it required the upgrade I think to the N64 to play it. Wasn't that how it worked?
Yeah.
There was some kind of barrier to entry. I
It
remember
was
at
like
least.
a separate cartridge that you had to plug your Zelda cartridge into.
Yeah, so we never played it. I kind of got the impression that it was not Ocarina of Time anyway, though. So I'm kind of like, eh.
Yeah.
I want to know when we're going to get an HD remix of the CDI Zelda games.
Please, no.
Never.
Yeah,
Oh,
I don't
bundle
think
it with
anybody is willing to spend the effort to do that.
Those
They
were
can
special.
bundle it with the HD remix of Final Fantasy VII.
Final Fantasy is an RPG.
I hear
I'm
that
still-
song every time I get on my Chocobo in Final Fantasy XIV. The lyrics just won't get out of my head.
I think that you
Speaking-
should replace the game file in the actual game folder of Final Fantasy 14 with that song, so then it actually plays.
Oh God, no.
Speaking of Final Fantasy, Final Fantasy XIV Heaven's Sword expansion has been revealed. So, Adam, you're the Final Fantasy XIV guy, man. What's going on with this?
Oh, I'm sure my 4 weeks of experience with this game are really going to make me an expert on this. I don't know anything about it other than they are increasing the level cap to 60. So I guess all those people who had all that fun time probably spending hundreds of hours grinding the end game to when they were level 50.
Get through it again.
Good luck. But, like, I guess this is the same thing they do a WoW, where it's like, well, I hope you enjoyed that, motherfuckers. Do it again. This is the problem, actually, a lot of times with MMOs of this style, where it's like, it's probably actually one of the benefits of, like, what City of Heroes did, right? So they never increased the level cap, so it wasn't just, like, erasing all of your effort. Like, I remembered at work when they would increase the level cap at World of Warcraft, and it'd be like, you know, I was in the new area for about an hour and replaced all of my, you know, raid gear with green gear. It's like, wow,
That's so shitty.
hundreds of hours of effort wiped out.
Green gear is just basically like the lowest common
Uncommon.
denominator of like decent gear, Jason.
Oh, I gotcha.
So it's
Yeah,
like,
and
you
I
know,
mean-
they spend all this time getting all this good gear, and then they run around the new area for a few minutes and they get something better.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure that, like in I don't remember, it's been a long time. I think in World of Warcraft, the white gear stops dropping altogether. Like, it gets to a point where if gear dropped, it was green gear, or it was gray gear. So it was either trash gear or it was uncommon. White gear, I think, pretty much had to be bought from vendors.
Well,
So it was one of these things where it was like, and then so there's a degree to which I'm hoping that they don't do that. continuously with this
Right.
game. Like if this ends up being something I actually play past, the level cap. Where I'm
Yeah, you're
actually
still not
starting to get
sold,
to
huh?
the gear grind. Well, I don't know. I mean, I've got kind of a short attention span. I never know when something is going to catch me.
Yeah.
I liked Neverwinter. I played a lot of the additional content in Neverwinter past level 60, but I didn't start getting into like the real gear grind. And then, like I said, I hit what I felt like was a paywall, and I was like, I can see where this is going. It's like you can either do this for months on end, or you can pay us and do it in a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
It's
that's shitty, man.
I
That's
don't know if I
really
want to do
shitty.
this.
Yeah, it's
Which
not
is
cool.
such a fun game too. That had like the best battle system of any MMO I've ever seen. But I don't know, and it looks like they're adding like a Death Knight job into the game. And to be clear, jobs are you've got in Final Fantasy 14 you've got classes and you've got jobs. Jobs are acquired by leveling up your classes.
Yeah, just like
but-
tactics.
yeah, but you have to level up more than one class to unlock a job. So, for example, my character just recently became a black mage, and then last night I got him up to white mage as well. And this happened by basically leveling up a primary class and a secondary class.
Hey, congrats.
Yes, and the jobs also have a tertiary class, which is a class that isn't essential for acquiring the job, but you can learn abilities by leveling up this class that you can use with your job.
Hmm.
So they're
Well, I like
adding,
that sort of, sideways progression.
yeah, lateral progression of sorts. Although, frankly, I don't know. Like the Thaumaturge is a tertiary class for the white mage, and it's got at least one ability that it seems to me to be so essential to the class. I hardly think it could be considered lateral progression. It's something called Quick Cast, which allows you to activate it and then cast your next spell with no cast time.
Wow. Yeah, that
And-
sounds stupidly good.
Even as a conjurer, I mean, granted, it's on a cooldown, right? But it's actually got a pretty quick cooldown. It's a 60-second cooldown.
I
And
mean, even if it
just-
wasn't, it's one of those things where it seems like it'd be really good to, open up a fight.
But no, it's not even that you open with it. You do it when there's a damage spike and you need to heal quickly,
Oh, yeah, group dynamics, right.
which is what I've actually been doing with it. I mean, the weird thing is even though I'm using Thaumaturge as my main class, I've been doing all of the group content as a conjurer. So essentially, I'm leveling the black mage as my main, but I'm using a white mage for all of the group content so far.
How does the pug system work in that game?
Actually, it's a lot like
Pug
World
being
of
pickup
Warcraft.
group, Jason.
Right. It's a lot like World of Warcraft, and you have to be careful too because pug also means pugilist in this game.
Oh. Guess that makes sense.
Yeah, but wait, sorry, I lost track of that. Yeah, it's a lot like World of Warcraft after they introduced what was it, Wrath of the Lich King? I think
Oh,
is when they
Jesus.
introduced it. Is you queue up for the dungeon and the servers will dynamically group you with people. So
That's cool.
it's nice. I like games that don't make me go into LFG channels and just spam them looking for shit. It's
Yeah,
like, okay.
I despise that practice at this point.
It's like I really don't know why any modern MMOs, every modern MMO doesn't have this kind of thing, where it's like, look, I queued up as this class. It knows I'm a healer, so it's like, all right, you're queued up as a healer. All right, we're gonna match you with a tank and 2 DPS, and okay, dungeon starts. One of the
Yay.
reasons that I've been healing the group content is because I want to get through those lines faster.
Makes
My God,
sense.
that's crazy, boss.
Yeah, this is the one of the last bosses when you first start the game, because the way in Isaac that it works is like you unlock more and more bosses and more levels and stuff. So initially, this isn't even the last boss. Oh Jesus! But then this becomes the last boss. Now I've gotten to the point where I've got bosses past this. So
Ooh.
yeah.
Like a
Okay,
boss.
so I guess I'm gonna go fight Satan. And I'm not even making a joke. I'm gonna go fight Satan.
Wow, this game is special.
And you're not even playing Ghosts and Goblins.
Right?
Or Super Ghouls and Ghosts.
But I am a valiant knight.
Of course.
What happened to your character's face?
I picked up items. I don't even know what they are.
It's rude, Jason.
That is rude. Why
Rude
would
to
you say that?
kind of thing.
I know. I'm horrible. I'm a
You're
horrible
very
person.
uncouth.
Horrible person. And politically incorrect.
So yeah,
Speaking
sorry,
of-
I don't have a lot of insights about the game, given that I'm very new to it. But yeah, level cap going from 50 to 60 seems like the big thing.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
I
more
think
than I
you
know.
covered that. Also, the expansion will feature a new unannounced race, including both male and female genders, the ability for free companies, which are guilds, to build airships, new jobs, new primals, boss-like enemies based on summons in previous Final Fantasy games,
Yep.
including an original primal from Final Fantasy. Uh, let's see, I'm not even sure what numeral that is. And of course, new areas and many new dungeons, not just 3 or 4. They say
You
Not
know-
just 3 or 4.
not
I
just
like
3
that.
or 4.
I'm wondering too, though, because this happened in World of Warcraft when they would increase the level cap, and I don't know if they've gone back and changed this, but they would increase the level cap, and they would lose all of this content because they would have all of this content for the end game at like level 60, and then when the level cap would be pushed up to 70, all of that content was left in the game unchanged. So it essentially was this like these scores of in-game content for people who were level 60 that nobody does.
Right, yeah.
You
Makes
know,
sense.
that seems unwise to me. Like, I wonder if they're going to like upgrade this like, I kind of feel like if you're going to have all this content, like do yourselves a favor in terms of giving the players something to do and knock this stuff up to level 60
Yeah,
content.
like have a
knock it up to-
process that you're going to be able to upgrade it.
Right.
I
I
think
mean,
I'm gonna
this
die.
is actually something they're doing in the Secret World, believe it or not. There's a raid. There are 2 raids in the Secret World. One of them is the New York raid that everybody does, and one of them is an Eidolon raid, which you can only get by doing the layers. So the game never really compels you to do the layers. You just kind of have to end up doing this. And the layer raid is meant to be done by people who are in like QL10 Blues. Nobody in QL10 Blues does this raid. Nobody. Everybody who does this raid are they're top end players in 10.4, 10.5 gear.
Oh, I'm dead.
So the devs are actually going to increase. They're going to convert that raid into a tier 1 raid.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, it's like okay,
Good on them.
this is wise. I mean, the thing is, they have drops that are good for people who are in tier 1s. That's why they're doing it. But it's extremely easy. It's one of these raids where it's like, look, just as long as you don't screw up, you're fine.
Just don't screw up.
Right. Just don't,
You
just
fuck around
don't-
too much.
Yeah, right. Your kids screw around. Stop screwing around. It's like so long as you kind of marginally know what you're doing and you don't make any horrible play errors, you'll win.
Dun, dun, dun,
So
dun, dun,
They're
dun,
increasing the
dun,
difficulty,
dun.
and presumably they're going to increase like the value of the drops. Like presumably better things are going to drop in there now. Because it's like, hey, look, if we got something that only the high-end players are doing, why not make it a high-end thing? I think
Right.
other MMOs should probably follow suit with that. Don't give up all of your content just because you increased your level cap. Improve that content so that you have more to do.
Yeah, exactly. Even if it's stuff that, has been in the game, you can put a fresh coat of paint on it.
Exactly.
See? We're thinking men.
Easier said than done, of course.
Indeed. But anyway. I think Jason ran away.
I think yes, we've lost him.
So this
Can
run...
you hear me now?
There you are. Hey.
Okay. I think I accidentally switched my mic over to mute.
That's
I don't
an
know
issue.
how that happened. Yeah, sorry guys.
It's all good. I was like, oh no, he must have ran to the bathroom.
He's probably wondering why everyone was talking over him.
I was like,
I'm
man,
trying to say
move-
something.
I'm trying to move on to the next story here.
We were just ignoring you.
Yeah, I was just like, well, they still got stuff to say.
No,
But,
there was no
I was gonna-
interruption whatsoever.
I was gonna say, man, you guys are thinking men, me, not so much. Which is why I play games like Grand Theft Auto 5.
I'm dead. Grand Theft Auto
Aw.
5.
No good.
Bueno.
Oh yeah, I see. You died.
Today
Now,
I
was
died.
Was that Satan?
And no, that was just Monstero 2, which is really
Ah.
embarrassing. But I'm dead.
Dagnabbit.
He was
Well,
a boss that was in a random room, which can happen late in the game. Just a random room. Hey, here, fight a boss.
You'll get him next time, man. Get him next time.
I hope so. But anyway, GTA 5.
Grand Theft Auto 5, it is coming to PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Actually, same day as Dragon Age, November 18th, and it is also coming to PC in January. So now it's going to feature a first-person mode, but it's not just like tacked on. Apparently, it's a first-person mode that works really, really well. So if you've ever wanted to get up really close to someone and shoot them, you can now do that. Also, they've redone all the car cockpits, so the cars have gauges and things like that now. Just a lot more detail.
I want a gun that will, when you fire it, makes someone appear next to your target and stab them.
Say that again?
I want a gun that will summon like an armed human being with a knife, so that when I point my cursor at the target and pull the trigger, a man with a knife appears beside them and stabs them.
Like Michael Myers? Or
Not
Jason
necessarily.
Voorhees?
I just want an inversion. I want my gun to be extremely high tech, so that it's amazing enough to summon like an avatar of a human being, only to stab the guy. So we're basically using extremely advanced technology to kill someone in an extremely low tech way.
Sounds like a gun they would have in Saints Row.
Well, yeah,
they
that's
should
going
make
to be
that
hard
happen.
to top the dubstep gun, though.
It might be, but maybe next game, Saints Row 5, which I'm sure is probably in development by now.
Hey, Gat Out of Hell comes out soon, right?
Yeah, I'll probably buy that one too. It's only $15.
Yeah, I probably will too, because I'm really liking Saints Row 4. And I think it's going to have all the crazy powers still.
Yep, it's supposed to.
So,
Except Gat has the powers.
which I'm okay with. As long as I can have the crazy powers, I don't really care who I am.
Yep. Hey, I
Just-
like Gat.
I don't know anything about Gat.
I feel like maybe Gat Out of Hell is like almost maybe a thing to say, hey, support the development of Saints Row 5,
Well, in so far as, a lot of DLC is like, hey, support this because you really like the game, right?
Pretty much. I mean, Volition is a small company. Granted, they've, I'm sure they've become bigger, but they're not a big company like Rockstar.
Yeah, I mean, I like Rockstar, but yeah. I have no
like-
idea how big they are.
Hey man, we already know Rockstar's doing another Red Dead Redemption, which makes me just giddy with glee.
No surprise there, considering how well it did.
That game is still sitting in my stack of games.
Ah.
I've never actually put it in my 360.
Dude, I cannot believe that.
I've never
That is...
I never played Tales of, which one was it? Vesperia, I think, which is one of my game regrets that I never picked up. Like I have it, but I never played. Like why did I do that?
You got it, but it's just sitting there.
Yep.
Also,
Tales
you've,
of Persona 2 Lunar Silver Star Story.
What?
you've also not played Ni no Kuni.
Yeah, I basically forgot I had that.
I never played Let's Meow Meow.
Well, yeah, you don't know what you're missing out on, man.
What about Sexy Beach 3?
I haven't played that one either.
Yeah, you did. You saw Sexy Beach 3.
I didn't play it though.
You didn't play it.
There are
Yeah,
two
But really,
separate
you
ways
don't need to
Sexy
play.
Beach
You don't
3.
need to play either of those games in order to enjoy them.
No.
I just want to know: does the interface on Sexy Beach 3 is it good enough that I can play it with one hand?
Maybe. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess it depends
Yeah.
on your dexterity, right? You got to up your dexterity score, Adam.
I mean,
Yeah.
you kind of gotta make sure that you have a position going that you like, and then then you can switch over to just playing that game with one hand.
You know what it needs really is it needs like an additional apparatus that plugs into a USB port. That's essentially like a motorized fleshlight.
I like where this is going. Giggity giggity.
But it only activates when certain in-game things.
Right.
There you go. You're thinking, man.
Oh man, hentai games.
Good
Right
shit,
here on-
man.
Right here on episode 00.
I play visual novels over on my YouTube channel. That is youtube.com/phantomsy. Speaking of hentai games. Though they're, obviously it's not like I'm like, hey, YouTube, I'm going to put boobies up, but yeah.
Man, if you reviewed more hentai games, you would probably be getting that YouTube check.
Man, there
I don't like
are,
doing reviews, man. They take too long to do.
There
They do
are
take a
boobs
long
on
time.
YouTube.
They're what now?
There are boobs on YouTube.
Yeah, so I've seen. There's
Pretty
I
like,
much.
thought that was like illegal.
No. So they can be on YouTube if it's artsy,
mm,
Or
okay.
or if you're like a big corporation, like paying YouTube to sponsor it, right? Like the blurred lines video.
I don't think
I've
I've
not
seen that.
So you're familiar with the song "Blurred Lines," right? I know you want it. I know you want it because you're a good girl.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So if you may have seen like the censored music video, but the music video as it's in its original form has got a lot of topless women like prancing around in stilettos. Now, obviously, this is
Excellent.
something no other YouTube artist could possibly get away with. Like you can't be like an indie YouTube artist, right? And make like a song, like write your own song, and then have like a music video to it with a bunch of like topless women walking
course.
around.
Yeah.
But you have to understand. See, this is from like a big music label, so it's okay.
Right.
How does that work?
They're
I love
big.
how-
They have money.
Yeah, Google is just so consistent.
It's funny to me how you can't show nudity, but like you can show incredibly violent movie scenes and
It
games.
shows someone's head getting clapped and exploded.
Oh yeah, like look at my Ricky O video review, man.
Exactly. It's actually
Just
kind of
Right, it's like on American television, right? If a woman gets her head cleaved in half, that's fine. But if she's topless when it happens, we got to censor it.
That's right.
Yeah,
It doesn't make a lot of sense.
it's kind of funny.
I don't know, man. Very strange. Like I don't find nudity offensive, so much as I do acts of violence.
Now, this being said, though, I've had a little bit more interaction with Europeans in the last couple of years, and I've learned a little bit more about like their cultures and what goes on in their countries. And they have like a whole list of like censorship rules that are obviously not the same as ours, but they're equally silly.
Yeah.
Or they're annoying. Like, for example, my German friend, he actually sent me PayPal money so that I could buy him the Stick of Truth on Steam and give it to him as a gift. The reason being, if he had bought the Stick of Truth with his account, he would have gotten the censored German version of it.
Oh,
Where-
yeah.
They convert the minor spoilers here, but I mean, it's the Stick of Truth.
It's
They-
South Park. Come on.
They
Yeah, who
convert the Nazi zombies into just zombies.
Oh yeah, I forgot that like any kind of Nazi reference over there is incredibly illegal now.
They also have this really, like, in Germany, they also have this really overbearing copyright rule about music. So a lot of times I will want to send him something that maybe contains, like, music or it's a music video or maybe it's something that's being sung. And I'm like, hey, watch this. It's funny, but oh, I can't watch it. It's like, why not? Well, because basically in Germany, if you want to post music on the internet, you have to prove to some particular body that this belongs to you and you're allowing people to access it on the internet.
That would drive me insane.
It's pretty nuts. So it's one of these things where like the burden to demonstrate that this is your intellectual property is a little bit too extreme. So I've actually tried to before send him or send my German friends like videos that are being hosted by the creator of the video, by the person who owns the IP, and they can't watch it.
That is nuts.
Jeez, man. I complain about internet censorship over here.
Now, of course, they don't have nearly the net neutrality problems we have here, and of course, in Europe, they pay a fraction of the cost for internet speeds that are many times faster than ours.
Yeah.
But it is to say that these
They got their
we
own
have
issues.
we have our weird hang-up about boobs, but a lot of other countries have their hang-ups about some other strange things.
Yeah.
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I understand, obviously Germany being weary about Nazis.
Yeah.
But there's a degree to which where it's like you can't even show them in a satirical context. That's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear you.
You know, a couple of years back, JBL was over in Germany and he did like the Nazi walk,
Yeah.
and he got in big trouble for that.
Well, whenever I first heard about this, I was like, oh, God, why is that guy acting like a douchebag? And then I saw the video of it, and I was like, oh, He's just trying to get heat.
Yeah,
Like,
he's just being a heel, you know?
like he's being the foreigner who goes into somebody's country and mocks their culture. Like
Yep.
that's the angle he was pulling.
Yep.
He lost
And-
his job as a Fox News like financial commentator
Yeah.
because of that. I was like, really? He
Yep.
lost his job because of that? I mean, and this is one of these things too, where like a lot of times like people will do something like I don't agree with, but I don't think they should. Like, you know, Rob Schneider, for example, he's an anti-vaxxer.
Rob
Oh.
Schneider.
Speaking of South Park.
They pulled, yeah, exactly. They pulled his commercial for State Farm because it got some backlash. Now, granted, I know that they're selling insurance and everything, including health insurance, and he's, you know, part of this wacko group of people who are telling people not to get vaccinated and not to vaccinate their children. And yeah, that's ridiculous. Yeah, that's absurd. No, he probably shouldn't be losing paychecks because of it.
Yeah.
It's
You,
kinda
you gotta stick to the issue.
Yep. Pressing issues with Maurice Chavez.
Oh man, that was a throwback.
Yeah, you know, just showing my age, man.
Yeah,
But
we can
yeah.
all do that here.
We can, especially me. I'm the eldest here, old school gamer, man. But yeah, this has been the first episode. Well, actually, the test episode of Rare Drop Gaming Podcast. Did you want to get to the end of this run, Andrew, or?
Either way, man, I'm easy. I don't really think we need to necessarily make the podcast revolve around my run. But
All right.
But
All
yeah,
right,
whatever,
well,
man. I'm
Hey
easy.
man, I think this has been pretty successful. Look forward to seeing you guys next week. Please check us out here on Twitch. I believe we are twitch.tv/raredropgaming. And let's see. I'm going to know these addresses soon.
Twitch, or I'm sorry,
YouTube.
youtube.com/raredropgamepodcast.
That's it. All right. So I've been Jason, along with...
I am Andrew, aka Phantoms of Y.
And I'm just Adam.
Hi, Adam.
Bye, Adam!